Hi, I'm Lily. Today I'm going to present the presentation on my conference paper. The topic is the interpretation of Victor's dream based on Viktor Frankl's existential analysis. My presentation's outline includes three parts. They are introduction, text analysis, and conclusion. The introduction of dream theory. Hi, I'm Lily. Here today I'm going to present the presentation on my conference paper. The topic is the interpretation of Victor's dream based on Viktor Frankl's existential analysis, and the outline includes three parts. First one, introduction, the introduction of dream theory, and the background of this paper, and the thesis statement. Text analysis, the interpretation of Victor's dream based on Viktor Frankl's existential analysis. And the conclusion is author's opinion and reflection about Frankl's focus on the willing to meaning. So let's move to the first part, introduction. In the introduction, firstly, I will introduce the background of my paper, why I choose this topic. Basically, it's because my curiosity and enthusiasm about the dream. Because in the 19th century, many writers were fascinated by dreams, and some authors are keen to analyze dreams and write books, while others integrate dreams into novels to express the personal feelings and expectations of the characters by describing the dream. So I want to analyze Victor's dream more, so I choose this topic. And in the Frankenstein, when I was reading Frankenstein, I thought that Victor's dream, which implies a lot of things and meaning, we should analyze it in a very, very deep way. That's another reason I choose this topic. So I think the dream indicates Victor's complex inner feelings and personal desires. Then in my paper, I will deliver a brief literature review to say how the experts have recently analyzed Victor's dream in Frankenstein from different perspectives. For example, Brenner explores Victor's dream based on composition theory, queer theory, and Freudian dream analysis. The last part in my introduction is Frankl Victor's existential analysis introduction. I will introduce the meaning of the main ideas of this theory, which is considered more about existence, and he tries to explore some big questions which are given purpose and the meanings of life. So my thesis statement is, Sim Freud successfully indicates Victor's dream in Frankenstein by analyzing the dream's meaning, psychological process, and function in detail. However, if we interpret Victor's dream based on Viktor Frankl's existential analysis, we could discover Victor's concerns and fears about the meaning and the purpose of life. So let's get into the detail mode to the text analysis part. In the text analysis, firstly, I will describe how we use Freud theory to analyze the Victor's dream. As I mentioned before, it's more focused on the meaning. For example, the aspect is being mentioned in Victor's dream, and based on Freud theory, it means the meaning of love and family, and Victor's desire to have a romantic relationship with her. Besides, in addition, the dead mother also been mentioned in Victor's dream, which means Victor's feel guilty and regret about he didn't save his mother and his special affection about his mother. And then I will compare the two Freud theory to introduce Viktor Frankl's existential analysis. So Frankl, He is more focused on the purpose of existence and a person's responsibility in acting within his or her life. For example, Franco mainly looks at why Isabeth turns to their dead mother and the problems Victor is afraid of. And Franco mainly looks at why Isabeth turns to their dead mother and the problems Victor is afraid of. In addition, some of the presented in may be from the dream past or things the dreamer is afraid of. For example, in Frankenstein, in the blue of hell, hell is the exact term in this text because although Victor is a dream of healthy action, that's exactly what he is afraid of. What he is afraid of. About a son, and it will start however, at the back of Victor's mind, worry about relationship with work, concern about this is how I interpret Victor's dream based on Frankel's existential analysis, and my paper also got academic support so I use the some scholars' opinions to help me interpret and analyze Victor's dream. And in addition to demonstrating the struggle, purpose, and the meanings of a person's life, seeking Victor's existential experiences is another way to interpret this dream. So, the sequence in which the characters appear in Victor's dream also indicates the order they died and the novel's ending. For example, Isabeth is healthy at the beginning, which means love, family. However, in the middle of the dream, Isabeth turns to Victor's dead mother, and the grave also shows up, which means she will be killed on the wedding night. Although, if we use this way to analyze Victor's dream, we could say that it may not very closely related to the dream because it's related to the end of the novel. But I think from this way, we focus on existential experiences is also an interesting way to interpret Victor's dream, and based on Frankel's existential analysis. And I also got the academic support to help me prove this dream. As I mentioned before, some of the hints and clues presented in the dream maybe it's the things from the dreamer's past or the things dreamer is afraid of, which is perfectly fit on Victor's. So, in conclusion, compared to a Ford theory, which is focused on the pleasure of life, such as love, sex, Viktor Frankl's theory is focused on the purpose and the meaning of life. This way of thinking, I think, is exactly what we need in today's society because their minds can be divided into spiritual and physical and physiological levels. Satisfying a physical demand may not satisfy a person's spiritual demand. And I think the dream is common and it is worth to analyze, and this ways of thinking is very important, as I mentioned before. And I think it is very important for people to consider the meaning and purpose of life, especially the struggles you've been go through. For example, I came to WKU. As a student, I need to know the purpose and the meaning. I came here is to find what I'm interested in and to learn the critical thinking to get a world-class education instead of I came here to play around with my friends, with my time playing games. This will really ruin my life. So obviously it is significant to consider the meanings and purpose of our life, which is I learned by analyzing Victor's dream based on Frankel's theory. And I agree with Viktor Frankel's opinion that details and clues in dream can give clues and hints to the real world. For example, if I dream that I got a B plus for the exam. So this is in my dream, but in the reality, I could know, oh, I need to work harder and stop to look at my phone, stop to play with my friends all the time. This is the hint and clues I learned from my dream. So in conclusion, through the analysis, Victor's desire for intimacy and fear that a relationship will not last are explored, which also improves Freud's analysis of the meaning of life. And I interpret Victor's dream in Frankenstein based on Frankel's existential analysis. Based on this theory, we could find Victor's inner fear and his struggles of the meanings and the purpose of the life, which is the main purpose of this paper. I hope more thoughtful interpretations of Victor's dream can be explored in the future. In addition, other scholars' dream theory is worth to noting. And finally, I would like to share one more thing I learned from this semester from this course. I think literature is it's like a treasure to students to explore, even for a very, very small passage in a whole novel. It's worth for students to analyze it from different ways and you can learn from it. And I think this is the meaning of learning literature. Different people could have different opinion about the novel, the opinions, the scholars, but all of us could learn something, and I think this is the most important things in learning literature and in the undergraduate education. It's not because something is wrong, correct or incorrect. It's that you can really to find something you're interested in, and based on a theory, you go to explore it by yourself and go to do the research. By doing research, I really learned all kinds of scholars' theories about dream analysis, and I hope in the future I can explore it more. So, the above is my presentation. Thanks for watching.